Hello there. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining me here tonight again. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I am here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time where we can relax and craft together for about an hour here. And I work on projects from beginning to end so you can be part of the whole process along the way. Right now we are working on the Triangle Tango quilt. Here we go. The Triangle Tango quilt, and this is from the Missouri Star Quilt Co. Their publication, Block is the name of their publication. I put a direct link for you here in this post below so you can get to the digital version if you wanted to do this project with us. We are at the point where we are making all of our adorable half square triangles. So there we go. A half square triangle is a square divided in half to make two triangles on either side like this. So there we go. And I picked this project because I found this fabric and I thought it was so dang cute and I needed a project to show off the fabric. So you can still see, this isn't going to get cut any smaller. So you can see the cute pattern, which is what my intention was, and that's kind of how the quilt is. So each of these triangles is basically one of those patterns. So you can see it's going to actually be way bigger than what you see or what it looks like from here. So I'm super stoked. It's going to be about a king-size quilt. We do need to add some sashing on yet, but right now we are going to have another day of cutting down our 10-inch squares. We've sewn two 10-inch squares together. One's a pattern piece, one's our background color, which is white for mine. And we're going to make 4 half square triangles out of this. And we got a whole pile more to go, so we'll just cut today like how we did yesterday. We're showing the whole process here, so as part of that process is just chilling and cutting. So we are going to cut today, and at the end we will iron them all open. So just how we did last night. So if you're wanting to see what they look like finished, we will be ironing towards the end. Whatever we cut today, we'll iron. So that is the plan. All right, I'm going to flip you guys around and we'll get started tonight. Thanks again for joining. All right, got the setup again. I did not switch my blade. I keep saying I'm going to switch my rotary cutter blade, but I still have not done that. I did, however, find out, I did get some information on the designers of the fabric. So remember, I keep forgetting to look up where this fabric is coming from. So I got that information for you. I did put it in the link below. However, I'll let you know too. So there's 2 different fabric collections I'm using. And I'll just show you here. Here's all my finished half square triangles. So we got these cute sunshines, and that has these little, we got the stars. What else is in this collection? These cute little rainbows. And then we got, I think we have, the moons. And then we have a couple other colorways of that. But then we have a second collection. And the second collection are those little ponies. So here is the other collection that I just thought looked so cute. So I only have 1 fabric of this, and I have like 7 fabrics from this collection. So this is it's called Best Friends Forever, and the rest of this collection is awfully adorable. So you can Google Best Friends Forever, and it's by, here's my information here. It's by Stacey and it's by Moda. And then these guys, these fellers it's called Daydreamer, and it's by Andie, Hanna, and it's from Robert Kaufman. So those are the manufacturers, Robert Kaufman and Moda. Daydreamer and Best Friends Forever. So if you do some combination of searching for this and that separately, and then if you go to if you want to get this fabric, I think they're both kind of little older collections. So you'll have to click the shop tab on Google, and then it'll kind of show you where it's available. But I wanted to finally tell you guys what collections these are from. So, all right. They are so adorable though, and I just wanted to make something with it, and then this pattern came about. Ugh, so cute. All right, so let's get going tonight. We got our 10-inch squares. Again, this is our 2 fabrics. So I'm gonna get my glove on. Yeah, those both manufacturers are Moda and Robert Kaufman. Those are both very high-end, good manufacturers for quilting weight fabric. For sure. All right, one that way, and let's see. One this way. I'm trying not to move these. It's a little more awkward than it was yesterday. Got to get in the groove again here. All right, so we're cutting these 10-inch squares. We've sewn all the way around it, and by cutting it on the diagonal, we get 4 of our half square triangles. So there we go. And we're gonna actually trim these to the 6.5 inches right away. Actually, you know what? Maybe last night I trimmed them right after, but maybe tonight let's cut a bunch of those before trimming them. See if that speeds things up a little bit. Last night I decided to basically combine this initial cutting and then the trimming them down a little bit. I combined that in like one action, but I think this might be a better way of doing it. Or we'll see, I suppose. We'll cut a whole pile of them, and then we'll trim, and then we'll see how we're doing on time. We'll definitely iron them today too, just because it's nice to be that far, that they're ironed and ready for the next step. But I think we'll have one more day of cutting. So tomorrow I don't think we'll be cutting the whole time, but we will be cutting for a little bit yet. So I'm putting them all the same direction just so they're ready to go for when we trim them. You know, I bet you I could stack a few at this stage since we are trimming them down. The trimming I'm not going to want to stack, but I bet it would be okay at this stage. Cutting out steps, that's always nice. Although, like I said, I did not change my rotary cutter blade yet. So I think this is probably our limit of how many pieces we can cut through. Make sure everything's lined up yet. I hope everyone had a great day today. We found a new coffee shop by us today, so that was fun. Had a latte. It's always nice to discover a new coffee shop. All right, let's stack a couple more. Let's see if I can add one more to the stack this time. Oh, God, they're cute. Cute little ponies. So I am trying to line up the seams, though, when I do this. I think we'll have just enough leeway to trim them. You know, like if one gets nudged a little bit, I think we'll still be in a good spot, right? Like we'll have enough extra that trimming it will take care of the rest. Ooh, we might get through this faster then. Heh, feeling good. One day to give it a try and another day to work out the kinks, I suppose. All right, first angle. Ooh, your quilt stitched a baby quilt today. Oh, ready for binding tomorrow. Nice, Pat. That's my one of my favorite parts is binding it. That's when you know you've finished everything else. A lot of people, you either love or you hate binding a quilt, but to me, it's the last step of the process, and I really like it. Oh, Deborah, that sounds like fun. Yeah, weather's got to be just right for that, though, doesn't it? All right, yeah, we're getting our stacks done real quick here. Oh, man, I think we're going to just plow through these actually today. Oh, that makes me happy. It will take time to trim. we won't do layers and layers for trimming it down, just because the trimming is where we need to be a little bit more accurate. But this part is going to take it's going to go 3 times as fast as last night. Ugh, doctor's appointment today. Hope that's a good thing. Oh, your hand sewing a binding too, Linda. Nice. Yeah, it's just, for me, it's super relaxing. The hand sewing a binding onto a quilt. And yeah, it's just the knowing that I'm on the last step. If you don't include like washing it, fluffing it up in a wash. Last manual labor step. Oh man, Irene, you had a tooth filled today. Oh man. Hope you're feeling okay with that. All right, I'm more comfortable with the angles today. I don't know, yesterday I was rotating my mat all funny and felt like I was turning my hands at my body all weird, but today that's feeling better too. All right, yeah, speeding along. That's great, because I want to get to sewing again tomorrow. We have to sew the sashing on. But after that, after sewing the sashing on, I mean, there's 2 sashings, but after both of those, then we have our finished blocks, and then it's just laying it all out for the rows of the quilt. So I'm stoked. Oh man, you're trying to vacuum inside the pool when the water is 68 degrees. Yes, so we used to have a pool like that, and yeah, 68 is pretty dang cold yet. But yeah, we'd have to vacuum and scrub the sides of it. Luckily, Dad mostly did that. And at the beginning of the year, that's when all the bugs and the creepy crawlies are in it too. All right. Easier without the glove. Ugh, look how cute this one is. Oops. Little blue sky rainbows. Oh, they're so sweet. But yeah, I'm really happy that I found this quilt pattern for these fabrics, because like I said, I went to Missouri Star Quilt Co. when I was in Missouri, when we were driving through Missouri, and found this fabric and thought it was so cute, and I didn't want to chop it up into a bunch of little pieces, you know, like I might for a different quilt top or a different block. I wanted to showcase the fabric because that's what I thought was so adorable. I wasn't buying the fabric for, you know, colors or whatever. I bought it because I thought it was so cute, so I didn't want to chop it all up and then, you know, you not be able to see the cute fabric anymore. So I think this pattern really showcases it. And it's super quick and easy compared to the Splendid Sampler 2 project that we've kind of put on mini hiatus while we do this one. Ooh, I can tell I didn't get all the way through here. So we're gonna get pour a little extra line on here. Yep, okay, there we got it. Prep 2 is fun. I know you just have to do it sometimes, Gretchen, don't you? Like, you know, it sucks not finishing all, you know, your unfinished projects and all that, and it's like, oh dang, now I started a whole nother project. But sometimes you just have to go where the inspiration leads you. Like, you know, sometimes you just gotta do it. And then other times, all you do is feel like, oh, I have to finish all the projects. So when you feel like that, that's the time to finish up all your unfinished guys. But if there's something there and you want to give it a go. Like, I didn't want to let this fabric lie around without me using it. Yep. Apps makes the heart go fonder. I think I may not have cut through all those layers. So I think ooh, I might only have 3 left to cut. Good, because that's about all I can handle anymore with these, with this blade. So cutting through single, or, you know, it's really a double layer of fabric. That'll be better than, right now we're cutting through 6 layers of fabric. Oh good, we got separated here. Gosh, there's just one more set of 3 and we're done with this part. So dang, I think this grew out, or this went super fast. Oh, there's actually 4 left. And I'm not going to risk cutting through 4, so we'll do 2 layers of 2 to finish up here. Yeah, there's only 2 left. I'm not out of blades. I just don't have them here. So we moved. I moved a lot of that stuff over to the Penguin and Fish warehouse because we cut fabric there for all our kits. And so the blades needed to kind of be over there. And I just keep forgetting to bring this over to replace it. So tonight for sure, I'm just gonna go put this right in my bag right away. Because yeah, we'll need a nice, we'll be trimming these for a while, I bet. So we'll still need the blade. Ooh, last night you worked on Stars by Pat Sloan. It turned out so cute. You used patriotic fabric. Oh, Linda, that sounds amazing. All right, this is the last of it, you guys, and I'll show you the stack. And, you know, I've hardly been here at all yet tonight, and we have a mega stack going already, so holy cow, did this go faster than last night. We're going to slow it down, though, after this, because we are going to cut all the other ones individually, and we're making 4 out of each one of these, so each of the 4, so we're going to, like, multiply exponentially our amount of work compared to what we just did here. But it is fun to see. Fun to see how quick that went. I don't need this ruler here anymore. Let's scooch that out of the way. All right, so check this out. We cut all of these just now. So that went so fast. But yeah, now it's the part that's going to take the time. So you know what? Let's maybe try the rotating cutting mat. I think it's too small though. Oh, it might be just big enough. So all right, now we are. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to want to rotate like that. We'll see. We're going to give it a try. All right, so now I'm going to use my Clearly Perfect slotted trimmers. I want this to be a 6.5-inch square, so I'm going to cut the half square triangle sizes. So I want to, if I want my finished open square, if I want that to be 6.5 inches, then I use this 6.5 line on this particular ruler. So I'm using the diagonal, or the dotted line here. That's going to go on my seam here. I don't have Mary, for that I'd have to get I don't have enough space to have, like this is taking up all my space of where I usually sew, so my sewing machine is just like turned to the side there. But you're right, if I get tired, instead of sewing the sashings on, I could press for a little though. I have the iron here. So you see what we're doing here? There's just a teeny, like 1/8 of an inch on these edges yet that I need to trim off because we need to end up with a 6.5-inch square. Yeah, I don't know if I really need the rotating cutting mat, but oh well. It's kind of fun to cut on. All right, so there we go. We've trimmed off just that little bit, and so now when we open this and press it, it should be exactly or awfully close to 6.5 inches, and we can kind of see that here. You know, this is a 7-inch ruler, so 6.5 and 6.5, it looks like we're going to be right on the button, which is the whole point. So, all right, that's a good trimmed square. Let's start a pile for those, and we're just gonna do these one by one. This is the bulk of the time right here. Oh, Pat, you just dived into the Splendid Sampler for the past few days. So behind and having fun. Oh, don't worry about being behind. We are at all different stages with that for sure. And yeah, and I have videos for both the Splendid Samplers, the Splendid Sampler 1 which is the original one, it's just called the Splendid Sampler, and the Splendid Sampler 2, which is what we're working on now. So you can watch the videos for those if you need help with them or anything. And I'm not halfway done with mine. I know my mom is completely done with her entire quilt. It is done and quilted, but I am not there yet at all. So if you're looking for a block and you're like, where is this block on my YouTube page? If you can't find it, it's probably because I haven't done it yet. I got more than half that book to go through yet. But yeah, it's super fun. I have learned more about like different products and different skills and practicing those skills from that project, the Splendid Sampler projects, than any other quilt fabric related project I've ever done. So I'm super grateful for that, for sure. Like I feel, you know, I this is how I said it when we were working on the first one. You know, I felt like, oh, I could walk into a room of quilters beforehand and know enough to get by and not feel like a total like poser, I guess, or whatever, in a room of quilters. But now, after that project, I feel like, oh, I totally know everything they're talking about, and you know, I can hold my ground with the best of them there. So that's a good feeling. Not like there's a whole room of quilters waiting to judge me on what I know and don't know, but you know. Do I have a favorite block? For the Splendid Sampler 2 or 1, let's think. I'm trying to remember the first one that I actually have. I have all those done, so you know, I don't know if I have a specific favorite. Oh, there was one, a vase of flowers that I thought was going to be just like a simple, easy one. This is for the first Splendid Sampler. And it just turned out to be like the prettiest thing ever. So I do still really love that vase of flowers. I think it was like block number 4 or something for the Splendid Sampler 1. Or number 7, I don't know, single digits. And you know what? With both Splendid Samplers, what's so interesting to me is in my head, I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna like all these kind of graphic looking ones, like with all these, you know, half square triangles, and it looks just really cool and whatever. And like, oh yeah, I'll do all those cutesy applique ones, all those cutesy embroidery ones. You know, in my head, they're like just the like kind of cutesy ones. But I have had more, like I'm just happier at the end with all those cutesy ones. Like in my brain, they're not like these cutesy things at all. When I'm done, they're just like so fun. And so I'm really liking the cute ones more than I thought. Like in my head, I like, ooh, I want all these designery, graphic-y ones. But I don't know, those cute appliques, like, you know, like the elephant, and man, anything with birds on, like they're all, they grow on me real quick. So that's been interesting. That was something unexpected. You know, or the ones that I'm like, oh, I don't know if I really like this one. Those are always the ones that surprise me. Oh gosh, those mini hexies. Yeah, do you remember that one? So I think there's another mini hexie one in the Splendid Sampler 2. I've not done that yet. But yeah, that first one, oh, it was so pretty. Like that wreath of hexagons.
Um, that took weeks and weeks and weeks to do, though, just a single 6.5-inch block for the Splendid Sampler. Weeks. That might have been one of the longest taking blocks. And, I'm just working on it, an hour here in the evening. So imagine weeks of just one block. And it wasn't all at once. I kept coming back to it over time. Oh, the pin cushion. Oh, you did the pin cushion first and loved it. That's another one. So that's one of those ones that I was like, oh yeah, this is cute. Sure, I'll do the cute ones. But yeah, those are the ones that I think I've fallen in love with the most, or they've caught me by surprise on how much I like them. Yeah, that pincushion one was pretty dang sweet. I did like that one a lot. Oh, you haven't done either, but you have the book. Yeah, what's nice is the other thing that I think is cool about the Splendid Sampler is you can just take one of the blocks that you just love and make a quilt with just that block, right? You don't need to make the whole Splendid Sampler. If there's a block in there that you're like, oh wow, this is pretty, and you want to do a whole quilt of it. I mean, it's kind of what we're doing here. We're doing one block, but a ton of them for the whole quilt, right? So you can do the same exact thing for the Splendid Sampler. It's like a library of blocks. I veered a little on the end of that cutting, but I think we're fine. We're gonna have a little stringy pile here when we're done. So I'll cut for another 20 minutes or so, and then we'll have like 10 minutes left. In those last 10 minutes, I'll press what we've trimmed here. So, because, it's sad to leave it at this stage where they're still all closed up. We haven't pressed them open to see what the cute fabrics look like. So we'll spend some time doing that yet tonight. So don't worry. In the last 10 minutes here, we'll press all these guys open. We'll still probably have a stack of these left, but that will finish up tomorrow. So I've decided I do kind of like cutting this on the rotating cutting mat, even though I'm not rotating it that much or at all. Sometimes it is just nice turning it a little bit to get a little better angle on it. Having that option without having to move my hand, that's the benefit of a rotating cutting mat. My mom got the bigger version of this rotating cutting mat, which would be kind of nice, but the bigger one takes up a lot of space because once you are at this position, you've added a couple inches. So if you are a bigger one and you rotate that, then, it's even bigger. And I just don't have the kind of space in my little dining room here. On this I'm on a 4-foot by 4-foot table. Probably closer to like 3.5 feet, and then I put a leaf in, so I think we're at like maybe 5 feet by 3.5 or something. I'll have to measure it once. But yeah, so for this just small space that I'm working in, this smaller rotating cutting mat is working better for me. Oh, Pat, I know, isn't this, I do really like this cutting mat. So this is a Fiskars 7-inch rotating cutting mat. I'm not sure I have a link in here today. I wasn't sure I was going to use it. So if you just Google or, go to a quilt shop should have this. But yeah, this particular one is Fiskars, and mine, this small one, is the 7-inch one. Works perfect for these 6.5-inch pieces. And all the Splendid Sampler blocks are 6.5 inches. So, this small cutting mat works for that perfectly as well. Oh yeah, that cathedral window block, that was really fun. I had never done a cathedral window block before, and it was always in kind of like the burner of my brain that like, oh, I need to learn how to do those cathedral windows for quilting because they're just so pretty. And yeah, so I'm really happy that there was one of those blocks in this quilt. I would for sure extend that for a full quilt. That would be kind of fun. All right, just to give you guys an impression of what we've done so far. These ones are finished, and we got this many to go yet. So we're definitely slow down the pace a bit by cutting all these individually, but I'm really happy we figured out that we could cut layers of these all at once. So we're trimming them a lot sooner than I was expecting tonight, so that's nice. Also cutting these little dog ears off. That's just the tips, cutting the tips off so that when they're unfolded, when we press them, then we won't have those extra triangles hanging over the edge later. They'll just line up. Oh, you love the clamshells. Oh, see, that one was nice too. That's another surprise one to me. I wasn't thinking I would like that one as much as I did. Oh, same with you, Robin. You didn't think you'd like doing it, and you love it. I know, they just catch you off guard, some of these. Like, oh, there is a moment, and I can feel it. Like, you guys will have to let me know if this is how you feel with the Splendid Sampler blocks too, but there is a moment, and I can feel the difference happen, but there's a moment with every single block that I fall in love with it. Like, I may like it to begin with, but there's a moment in the process when I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally love this block. And it happens for me with every block. Like, you know, it might be when I sew the first triangle together, or it might be when I see two different fabric colors being sewn next to each other, or it might be when we get one extra little applique piece on, or it might be the moment I learn how to do needle turn applique a little bit better and it actually works for the first time. But there is a moment, and you can feel it, at least I can, like where it switches from like to love with every single block. So that's kind of funny. Oh, you guys know what I mean? Okay, that's fun. Yeah, when it's done. Sometimes that's when it is too, Pat. Sometimes it is when you see the whole thing together and it's like, oh my God, I love this. I love how it turned out. But for me, it's usually at some part of the process of making it, and I never know when it'll be. But that's happened. At least with every block with the first Splendid Sampler. I'm going to start thinking about that again because I don't think I've had that on the mind for these new ones. But after a while with the first Splendid Sampler, I started noticing that, like, oh my God, I fall in love at a certain moment in all of these. So that was just kind of cool. It always made me excited to keep going with the project too, you know? Because it is a big project. It's a long, big project. And it's not like this where we're doing the same thing over and over again. Like, this is just kind of like that Zen monotonous type working that compared to the Splendid Sampler where you're always learning something new or working on something a technique that's you're less familiar with. Like, it's always a little bit of work, but that good work where you're like learning something new and it's exciting type work, but it's not chillaxing like this type work. Some of them could get to it, like the all those hexagons that we did and stuff. There's definitely relaxing moments. Oh, I can't grab this one. Oh, the tree block. Yeah, that the tree block we did for that paper pieced one. That was really fun. That one I had just enough fabric for because I kept using up all the fabric for other blocks before finishing that one, and I was like, oh my gosh, just enough fabric for the paper pieced one. Oh, you had to redo the pineapple. The pineapple, again, that was another one that I thought was cute and everything, but I ended up really, really liking it. You know, and sometimes we're doing quilt as you go with this splendid sampler, which means that I'm using a technique where I don't have to make the whole top first before adding the batting and and then sewing the back and the batting and the back and then quilting it together. I'm doing the quilt as you go technique, so I'm just taking like 4 blocks, throwing on some sashing, and then quilting just the 4 blocks. And so sometimes the fall in love stage has happened at that stage, after the block is done. And I think the pineapple was for that. Like for the pineapple, I think I did diagonal lines on the pineapple, and I just thought that was so cute. And I think that's when I kind of fell in love with the pineapple block. But yeah, so a little different stage than my first splendid sampler because I didn't do quilt as you go for that. That was before I was free motion quilting the first splendid sampler. Oh, you adored my block, Robin. Oh, that's so nice. I thought it was just the cutest. Oh yeah, and then you did the Be Happy bonus block too. Oh, that's awesome. So that might still be available. I'm not sure on the Splendid Sampler page. So for the first Splendid Sampler, I was lucky to have a design in the book. So these Splendid Sampler books that we're talking about, it's put together by Pat Sloan and Jane Davidson, and they asked, like, for each book separately, 80 different designers. So there's 80 or so designers in the first book and 80 designers or so in the second book, different designers than the first book, and ask each of them to do a quilt block. I'm usually in the medium that they're kind of known for. Like, for me, I did embroidery for mine. And that's how it is. So every block in the book is made by a different designer. So I was lucky to do a block in the first Splendid Sampler. And it had quilting, or not quilting, it had a pieced area, like a pieced border. But in the middle, it had embroidery, and it had like an embroidery that looked like a crocheted doily. Because my grandma always made these crocheted doilies, so it was kind of an homage to her doilies that she made. So that was my block. If you guys are familiar with the first Splendid Sampler, that one was mine. I think it was, block 11 maybe? I know we had them all numbered. But in the book, they're in a different order, so I don't know where it is in the book. In the embroidery section of the book, the books are divided up in kind of technique. So embroidery's all together, applique's all kind of together, and just the pieced blocks are kind of together. Oh yes, and then thanks, Don. So then I also did a bonus block. Actually, I didn't do that as a block. I did that as just a bonus period. So they had a lot of bonus things happening for the first Splendid Sampler, and I did a little embroidery of a bee that was stitching on a little piece of fabric, and it said "Be brave" on it because you need a little bit of that for a big project like the Splendid Sampler. So I think this was during the Splendid Sampler, I took that embroidery and I added a kind of a border around it, but the border was just tons of fabric scraps that I fused onto it. Well, actually, I didn't fuse it. I put a piece of sticky Fabrisolve, which is like an embroidery stabilizer that's sticky. So I put that over a bunch of little fabric scraps that I put around the bee embroidery, and then I sewed all those fabric scraps onto the back fabric. and then I soaked it, and that got rid of the embroidery stabilizer. So in the end, it was this kind of messy, patchworky, scrappy frame, like circle frame with the little bee in the middle. So I think that bee pattern might still be free on thesplendidsampler.com in the blocks or the bonus area on the website. But yeah, I do like that one too. Oh, and I actually ended up stitching that into I put that in the quilt too. In my quilt when it was done. Yeah, we'll have to do that again, Pat, that technique. That is a really fun technique and a nice scrappy way to use up all the little bits. Yeah, we'll have to do that again for sure. That was fun. More embroidery, more playing with fabric, more small projects too. All of those things. We will do all of those things. Oh, I should check time. Okay, we'll go for, geez, it's only 9:14. Oh, we're cruising. So I'm going to go for another 6 minutes or so cutting. And then we'll press all these open because we want to look at these guys yet. Actually, I don't think this will take that long to press, so maybe we'll cut a little bit more. Still got quite a stack to get through. Oh, geez. Well, that didn't cut. Oof. Can tell it's getting fuzzier though with all this cutting. Like the air is getting fuzzier or something. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. That's usually a good time to clean up too, when you feel a little bit sneezy. All right. Ooh, here's those pretty moons. All right. John Boy just came. He got us some Chipotle. I just kind of snacked after my swim workout today, and we haven't had a big meal yet, and we were both really hungry. So Chipotle it is. I had a good swim workout though today. I felt awesome today. Sometimes, sometimes it feels like really hard work and sometimes it just flows. Today was a good flow day. What size quilt are you going to do with this one? I'm going to do all 168 blocks that this is. And I think that's going to make it a king size quilt or real close. So I believe they might end up 8 inches or so when I'm all done. I think it's a row of 12 by a row of 14 blocks. I think, and they had this sample that was in the book that I showed you earlier. I'll show you guys again. So here's just a refresher of what we're doing here. We are making this quilt here. This was hanging up in the store, and I think it was a king size quilt. I wonder if it says here. Okay, so it makes a 113-inch by 97-inch quilt. Is that around a king size? I don't know. Let me know. But it's 113 inches by 97 inches. That's what it's going to be when we're done here. I'm doing the full amount. Oh, John, I love Chipotle. Funny. I'm doing the entire amount. But this quilt, you could easily just do it as big as you want. You could just do, I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing 12 blocks by 14 blocks. You could do way less than that. This would be a really cute lap quilt, I'm thinking. I have no reason for making a king-size quilt other than I just had enough fabric to do it and I wanted to use it all up. So I don't know. Another random quilt laying around, right? Can't have enough quilts. This one would be a cute one to have on the bed in summer, though, or something, I think. Would it work to cut everything in half measurements for a smaller quilt? You could definitely... So if I wanted to do this without measuring, let's do it that way, because I'm not sure. I mean, you'd have to adjust for your seam allowances too, because your seam allowance, your 1/4 inch seam allowance, that's not going to shrink. You're going to always have the 1/4 inch seam allowance, so you'd have to adjust for that. If what you could do if you just didn't want to measure at all, which is kind of what I like doing sometimes, is you can just sew the squares together, like, you know, how we're sewing, these used to be the 10-inch squares. You can sew some other size square, like you could sew a 5-inch square if you wanted to give that a try, and then cut it like how we are, and then just see how big those are. And we're going to be adding that sashing on either side, so you'll just have to adjust the size of your sashing. I mean, I'm sure you could edit it to make it smaller. I don't think the math would totally work out, though, because of the seam allowances. And I'm bad at triangle math, but there are sites that can help you with like the triangle math. Like, if I want my final size to be this for my half square triangle, what size do I have to make my squares and all that sort of thing. Yeah, I can make quilt forts in the living room, that's for sure. Well, if we ever lose our heat in winter, we might be doing that. But yeah, so I just got, oh, well, you know what? I'm probably most likely going to have to get batting for this quilt, because this is a king size quilt. Oh, I might have enough. I might have enough with the, I just got a bunch for the, of that, what is it? Warm and natural? Wait. Warm and natural? Soft and natural? Warm and natural. Warm and natural. I think that's the batting, right? I got a bunch of that. I might have enough for a king size quilt. So that'd be good, because I think cotton would be nice for summer, right? So maybe that would work really well. If I have to buy batting, I'll probably, ooh, this is just barely enough, big enough. But if I have to buy batting, I will look for something that would be, I don't know, lightweight and nice for summer, because I do think this would be a cute summer quilt. Something light and drapey, not super heavy. Because I don't really know what that would be. Would that be cotton? There's a way to make 8 triangles instead of 4. Oh, that's true. So there's so many ways, you guys, of making half square triangles. You know, we made them 2 different ways for this project. This is the second way we're doing. This is the way that it has in the instructions. But when we make half square triangles other times, we make it a whole different way. There are so many ways. If you just Google how to make a half square triangle, you'll probably get, you know, 6 different possible ways. And there's ways to, like, where it's all intricate and all of a sudden you just cut all these things and all of a sudden you got like 30 half square triangles, you know? It's just kind of crazy. Oh, I do, Pat, I do know what I'm going to do for the backing fabric. Here, I have it right here. I'll show you guys. I am going to do this crazy bright green fabric for the backing, and I'm going to do it for the binding as well. So, like, if you look at it like this, so there, imagine you're seeing just this bright green binding around the quilt. So I'm going to do that for the binding, which, look, it's just going to frame it so fun. It's just going to be bright and summery. I love it. So it's going to be this green binding. So it'll be only like, you know, a 1/4 inch wide all the way around. And then it'll be just this green for the entire back. And I just love this color green. It is just crazy bright. like a neon green, and I've been wanting to use it for a while, so that's what I'm doing, but I love it. It's the same color as what's in this little pony here, so I think it's going to go together really well. Yeah, that's true, Jenna. A smaller triangles would make the quilt a bit busier. And again, the reason I chose this pattern for this quilt is because I wanted these really big triangles to show off the fabric. If I did smaller ones, smaller triangles, at least, you know, for my fabric that I picked here, you know, I would be chopping up these cute little rainbows, and you might not even be able to tell it's a rainbow if I make them too small, and I didn't want that. I wanted to show off just how cute they all are. And actually, making them smaller is going to make more work for yourself too, because to make a similar size quilt, not that you would do a king size quilt or anything, but there's going to be more. You'll have to make more to make a similar size. Like if you just wanted to make a lap quilt, I would just, and if you like the size of these, instead of shrinking the whole pattern, I would just, and this assumes that you like the size of these already and you just want to make a smaller quilt, I would just make the quilt like, you know, I don't know, 7 by 8 or something, you know, instead of what we're doing, which is 12 blocks by 14 blocks total. Yeah, this size, I think you're right, Noeline. This is perfect to showcase this fabric. Yeah, you could just do less squares. So that you can figure out, if you get the pattern, you can look at the back of the pattern, or the last page of the pattern. The pattern is in the book. And again, this pattern's available digitally for like less than $5. I did put that link here if you're interested in that. But you can just count how many blocks you want to do. You can estimate size from that because we know the finished size. So it would probably be like half, right? So half the blocks this way and half this way. So it would be at the quarter. So take this many blocks and divide it by 4, basically. So for a smaller lap quilt or baby quilt. So that we're doing 168 blocks. So you can divide that by 4 and then just make that many squares instead of all 168. And you can probably figure out, you know, how much fabric you might need from that. Ooh, silk batting. I've never used silk batting before. I think I missed a little bit of what you guys are talking about. All right, how are we doing on time now? Oh, you guys, I went a little longer on here than I thought. So I'm gonna put these guys aside. So let's see, how did we do? We have this many left to trim. I'm just gonna kind of look at the thickness here. And we've trimmed this many. So, ooh, I think we did about the same. So these are our ones that we can press. So let's do that now. I'm going to turn on the iron, shimmy our giant pile of threads away, and let's press these. We'll finish trimming up those other ones tomorrow. I'm hoping we'll finish them all. All right. Got my wool cutting mat, or not my wool cutting mat, my wool pressing mat right here. So these are the ones that we did today. These are our finished ones. I'm going to just add them to the stack here. All right, and I want to press the seam, so the seam is aimed towards the patterned piece. So you can kind of see that here, the seam is pointing towards the pattern side. And so to do that easily, I'm making sure that when I press it, the pattern side and not the white side is up. So I already have all my pieces facing that way. So I'm just gonna hit the seam first, and then we're gonna open it up. And this should be our 6.5 inches that we trimmed it to. Oh, look at those cute bright yellow stars. That'll look really cute with that bright green, I think. All right, I do want to press all these tonight, so we'll be here a little later. Just so I can finish these. Is silk good for the summer or something? I guess I've never used silk batting. I don't know anything about it really. I'll have to do some Googling. It'll be a little while before I do that yet. The batting. Although I suppose now would be the time to order it or get it from somewhere while I'm still working on the quilt. Gosh, this fabric's cute. Oh, silk and wool are both for winter and summer. Oh, interesting. You know, I don't think I've done anything with wool batting before, actually, now that I think of it. Oh, man. So I've used the cotton batting. I've used polyester batting. I've used cotton batting and bamboo batting. And my mom and I bought a giant roll, you know, like what long arm quilters get, that big giant roll. We got that of bamboo, but we're almost out of it. We've been sharing it, a big roll of it. But I don't know if there's enough left for a king size quilt. I'll have to find out. But that might be nice and light. See you later, Noeline. Because I think bamboo is supposed to be pretty light for batting. Oh, you guys, I'm not even sure we'll get done pressing these tonight. There's kind of quite a bit of a stack here. We'll go for 5 more minutes and see what we got going on. I'm gonna let the iron sit in the stand again so it warms up again. Just for a hair. So I got this cordless iron, which is amazing. I love it so much. I mean, imagine a cord dragging all over here, especially in this small space. You know, I don't have anywhere for a cord to hang. So this cordless iron is, God, one of my favorite quilting purchases ever, for sure. But there's a stand that it goes in, and that's plugged in. The stand is, but the stand can be far away. It doesn't have to be right in your face while you're pressing. But if you are out of the stand for too long, and actually it was still really hot, I didn't need to put it back in the stand. But if it's out of the stand for too long, then it starts to cool just a hair. Ooh, can't grab this one. Come on. All right, there we go. Oh, I keep hitting you guys with my shoulder, so I'm sorry. It's probably a little shaky for you tonight. Oh, for the iron? Oh, you have the blue version of this? I think it does come in a few colors, doesn't it? I like the gray. I bet you the blue's pretty. I think now that I remember, I think there was like a purple too. Yeah, these little moon faces are pretty. Definitely getting that Zen vibe now. Just pressing. I know if you're just coming in and you're like, what the heck are we watching? Just someone ironing over and over. But you know what? I love doing these projects from beginning to end. And part of it is just the Zen time here. Not all of our projects are just like this, but this project is. I like peppering in these nice relaxing projects while we're doing some more difficult projects too. So this is our little mini sabbatical from the Splendid Sampler 2. But yeah, I do want to do some more embroidery things here soon and some other projects that'll be nice and quick too. Because that Splendid Sampler, that's going to take us a long time yet. Ooh, you're wondering on a batik quilt. Ooh, considering a silk batting. Oh gosh, Jenna, that sounds like it would be totally luxurious and just beautiful. Yeah, if you do that, let me know. I'd love to hear how you like it. All right, now I think we'll pop it back in the holder again. So here's our finished stack so far. These guys are all ready to get sashing. So that stack's getting pretty big. Again, there's going to be 168 total when we're all done. Which is so many. But again, I'm happy that I'm using it up. That reminds me, Gretchen, you guys can, if you are on my email list, if you're getting my emails, my newsletter, I have one going out tomorrow, and there's some special things in there about the hoops, the embroidery hoops. So you'll want to make sure you look for my email tomorrow. And you can sign up, if you're not on my emails, you can sign up on penguinandfish.com where it says free pattern or newsletter. That's all that is how to get on to my newsletter. But there's a new one will be going out tomorrow morning. You haven't been able to watch in a while. What are we working on? Carol, we are taking a little hiatus from the Splendid Sampler 2. I found cute fabric and had to make something out of it right away. I'll show you guys the pattern again. It's called the Triangle Tango quilt. It's from Zuri Star Quilt Co. But it is this quilt right here, an easy peasy, but just adorable quilt. I'm doing the whole king size one. The triangles are this size. You signed up, you signed up 2 times. So you got the pattern, but no email. Oh, that's interesting, Kathy. I think you have to click in the email to get the pattern. Or were you directed to the website afterwards to get the pattern? Double check. For anyone, if you aren't getting my emails, they might just be deep in the spam or trash or promotions folder. So you might have to dig for them. So they all, the subject line, they're all from me. I think they're from emails at penguinandfish.com. But they all start out with like a bracket and then the letters PF and then another bracket. So PF for Penguin and Fish. So if you see something like that, those are my emails. So I know the other thing. So this is, I'm the only way you can really send emails to a lot of people at once is with an email system. There's places that provide that service. And sometimes people's emails don't always like receiving those. So it's like, It's like, your favorite store, the emails that you get from them for promotions and stuff. Sometimes an email system will recognize it as something that you might not want, like as spam or something, so it'll just redirect it, or sometimes it won't even allow it through. So I unfortunately can't do much about that. So that's kind of a bummer. I will, maybe in Penguin and Fish Crafters tomorrow, I'll put a link so you can see the email on the website if you didn't end up receiving the email. But yeah, be sure to check spam and everything. And once you start opening them, if you do find one, like drag it to your inbox. And if you do start opening them a lot, or like replying to them or whatever, if you're interacting them in some way, then in theory, your email system will learn, oh, hey, this is an email that emails from this person is something that you want. So there's a lot of rules with emails. So that's why there's all these like things in place that I can't necessarily control. Like spamming laws or something, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna just go till we have this stack done. We're getting there. I think we did a few more than we did last night, so that's cool. But yeah, so you guys, if tomorrow, I'll probably send it in the morning sometime. I'm Central Time here. If you don't get it tomorrow, by tomorrow evening, let's say, then for sure check your spam folders. And maybe tomorrow evening I will make sure that I get the web link version of it, onto our Penguin and Fish Crafters group. Or maybe I'll put it on our main page here too, the Penguin and Fish page. Yeah, because I think there are a few people that are having some trouble finding the emails yet. And if you've signed up and you've never received the free pattern that comes with signing up, again, be sure to check. Sometimes you can do a search in your emails, or sometimes you can search for a contact. But yeah, the bummer of it is a lot of times it's something I can't control. It's one email system talking to another and deciding on rules and algorithms and all that sort of crazy stuff. All right, then we probably have about 10 more or so here. So we're going a bit late again tonight, but I just want to plow through this quilt. Oh, gosh, this is the cutest looking stack of half square triangles ever. Fact! Ooh. I can add to the list, but a lot of times, so I know I've checked, you can direct message me and I will check to make sure you're on the list, but a lot of times what happens is I will go into my system and it will show your email and name and everything in the system, and it'll show that the email was sent. So it's something that at that stage it's not on my end anymore. It's how whatever your email system, it's deciding what it wants to ingest or not. And I'm not sure that's always controllable either, which is just such a bummer. But yeah, so I'll definitely put out the web version of my email into Facebook tomorrow too, because I don't want anyone to not be seeing the email at least. And maybe by clicking that, maybe it'll, I don't know that you want to be there. I don't know. It is a bummer though. Oh, yeah, Robin, I think so that is something that you can do. I don't quite know how the contact stuff works, but I think you can add a contact, and I believe it's coming from emails at Penguin and Fish. So or Alyssa Thomas, um, any of those combinations, and your spam might not be so mean. It's funny though, sometimes I rarely go through my own spam folder, and every once in a while when I do, I'm like, oh man, look I got something from this person and this person and this person. But then sometimes those are junk mail too, because sometimes, I don't know, people's stuff get hacked or not hacked, but I don't know. An email comes from someone where you think it's that person, but it's not. I don't know. Silly stuff. All right, just 4 more. Oh, 4 more after this one, I think. Yay, so we finished this. That makes me happy. So tomorrow, I'm hoping we'll be able to trim the rest of them. We'll trim and press the rest of these. Gosh, there's a big stack left though, so I don't know if we'll quite get sewing, but man, I would really like to. We'll be sewing by the end of the week for sure. I know, my stack is getting huge, Patty. I'll show you guys when we're done. But yeah, it's a good looking stack, that's for sure. Oh gosh, these rainbows. Yeah, I'll be sending another email out tomorrow. That's why I want to make sure you guys are getting it. If you aren't on my list yet and you do just sign up now, you will get a couple of emails right away, I think. But there will be a new one tomorrow. All right, gosh, there's still 2 more, I think. Multiply these guys. I think my iron wants to sit in its cradle again, too. This is the last one. Awesome, 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 awesome. Yep, you can sign up on the Penguin and Fish homepage, Kathy. Anywhere it says a newsletter or free pattern, that will get you to the newsletter. So you have to, and there's a pop-up that does it too. But I think right at the top in the navigation, it'll say free pattern. If you click that, that will do it. All right, you guys, that is my final stack so far. These are all the completed ones that I have so far. We do have this stack to trim tomorrow yet, so we do got some to do yet here. But I'm really hoping we can kind of crank through there. There's no other step to do on this except for that trimming. We don't have any beginning steps to do like we had to do today and yesterday, so I'm hoping we can get through that pretty quickly, but it's coming along. Oop, I think I'm bending a whole pile of them here. Keep messing with them. All right, so that is it tonight. I'm going to flip you guys around and we'll call it an evening here. Oh, what is my mom working on now? Well, she just made a baby quilt. So last time we were home, which was, gosh, that was not this past weekend, but the weekend before, she was finishing up a baby quilt. And now I think she's maybe taking a little bit of a break, or maybe she has another one of those baby quilts. I think, she just finished the Splendid Sampler too, and that was a big project. I would take a little breather after that too. But she's doing some baby quilts yet. But all right, here's our big stack again. Looking good. So all right, I will get this up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies for ya. And I'll be back here again tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Central Time on the Penguin and Fish Facebook page, and keep an eye out for your emails tomorrow morning. All right, you guys, have a great evening. See you later.